Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Interview with a Fox. It's been a year. I'm so sorry, but we're back with Kevin, and he and I don't know how long we've been chatting. Maybe it has been a year, or maybe closing in on a year. I don't remember uh, how we met, but it was something with the YouTube algorithm, I'm sure. Sometimes it does do things right. Not all the time, but sometimes it gives you great video recommendations. And I don't know if you commented first or I commented
I think
first.
I think it was me. I honestly,
Oh, okay.
I think
Yeah.
I was the original. I think it was I either found it through the algorithm or it was through a tag.
Um, oh, yes, the tags. We do
Yeah,
enjoy the tags. Yes, I like them. I
yeah.
haven't, no, I have. I'm still waiting, or not waiting. I'm still needing to do the cute dog tag that you tagged me in. I'm a little behind, but aren't we all?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say that to make me feel better. I'm very behind. Also, I know, does your mention sometimes delete themselves? I know we've
Sometimes.
had a problem with comments deleting. That's
Hmm.
great, YouTube. But yeah, that was dandy. I'm probably missing some stuff because YouTube wants to YouTube, but
Yeah.
I feel
I've
bad.
I've had that happen a lot with there's been a number of people trying to leave comments
Mm,
on videos and they're like, I can't leave this comment. And I've
yeah.
actually reported it to YouTube. But it's a constant problem, but it
Yeah.
is what it is.
Yeah, that's YouTube.
Yeah.
But I am just gonna briefly before we go deeper, just hand off just like a minute or two introduction to Kevin because I think it's better as people introduce themselves, just so everyone's on the same page. And also, his info's in the description below if you want to check him out. But yeah, what made you start BookTube and just a little background?
Well, I am Kevin from Kevin Toll Reads. Been on BookTube for it's going. It'll be 2 years, I think, around the March timeframe.
Oh.
This coming March, I think it'll be about 2 years. And so, I actually started because I started. It kind of came from Facebook to
Mm.
YouTube. I had people on Facebook. I just posted a video talking about a book I just read, and they're like, "Hey, you should do that on YouTube." And it was like, that's an interesting idea. And I kind of thought about it for a while, and I actually did a couple of videos, kind of book review style videos on Facebook before finally someone else commented about it. And I'm like, what, I ought to do that because one, it just makes better sense. And then two, I was
Mm.
like, I think, with my children, it was like they were going to grow up and not be able to have a face to face conversation because everything's through phones.
Mhm.
I'm like, we've lost kind of the ability to have a conversation. And so I was like, I should do that. Kind of the proof is in the pudding. If I'm going to hold my daughters accountable for being able to carry a conversation, have an interview, those type of
Mm.
life skills, better be able to do it myself. And so I kind of got on YouTube just to kind of do that and challenge myself. And then it kind of just spiraled and took off from there. Yeah, it's been interesting.
Mhm.
Seen some great things. It's got some bad, things, but what doesn't? But it's
Yeah.
been a lot of fun. I mean, a lot of people that post videos and talk about why booktube. I think the overwhelming majority of it is around meeting people. Like
Mhm.
two of us meeting, and so yeah. I mean, it's interesting. I've enjoyed it. There's been times where I think the biggest kind of con that around booktube is being able to balance it with personal life, and that's been a struggle at
Mhm.
times for me because you want to do more and more. But yeah, I like it. It's a fun hobby. So
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and, with time, you kind of figure out what you do and don't want to do, so that helps a lot.
yeah, yeah.
Um, and, I think also just practicing of, like, how to well, yeah, it's like practicing and then you get into a routine. So, like,
Hmm.
I'll bulk film, and that helps a lot. I think, bulk filming is a big key. Um, that's how I can churn out three, videos a week. Um, I do like four, sometimes five.
Hmm.
I'm getting exhausted by five, but there if I bulk film five in a row. But yeah, I think I've been on for 8 years, and like I would say the first 4 years, not that much posting, but that was there's like a lot going on in my personal life, and then I also just graduated college, and you're trying to find a job,
Hmm.
so you're not like homeless, and then having to like transition from college to you say like the real world and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know what's going on with my life. Yeah, but then I think also a lot of people uh jumped on during the COVID lockdowns, and that obviously makes so much sense. Though you said 2 years, so that was kind of like that was a little bit after also, but that depended on the state.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, so I think yeah, that depended on the state. Um, like you get a lot of people from like New York or like New York City that joined and was like,
Hmm.
yeah, because y'all were locked down for like 3.5 years.
Yeah.
Like, what else were you supposed to do? But surprisingly, not a lot from California.
Yeah.
Kind of hard for me um, to get get people from the middle or the East Coast or like definitely like in uh, Europe and all that stuff because I'm on the West Coast and it's just really hard for um, to match up the time zones. Which it's interesting to see that there are obviously some, but not that many booktubers on the West Coast. And I don't know if that's just like random or something about that. Though maybe because like there's more like California is huge and like that's mainly the West Coast and maybe people go towards something different like influencer, content creator, like makeup or they're doing skits because they're
Hmm.
already in California, they're trying to be in Hollywood, so then they do skits. I think I just had an epiphany moment. Wow, thank you for listening. I figured it out. No, I didn't. But do you remember your your first video and how that's all set up, or you just kind of winged it? I think I winged it, but
I did. I totally winged it. I remember. I don't remember the exact video I did. I think it was probably around a Jack Reacher book, um,
Mhm.
but it was it was bad. I mean,
Or
not
isn't
that the
it
production
always
value.
that? Yeah.
Yeah, it's still kind of bad, but I mean, it was. I didn't. I basically winged it.
Mhm.
Nowadays I have more kind of an outline, a template that I kind of use as a strategy to when I do a book review to give people general information. And I think back then I was just kind of like, yeah, I just read this book and here's what it was about. And I liked it. I didn't
Mhm.
like it kind of thing. And then that was it. And yeah, I didn't have any concerns about thumbnails, editing, lighting.
Mhm.
I mean, I recorded it on a phone and I uploaded it. And that was all I did, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a lot of people. I mean, I still film on my phone, but it's one of the fancier iPhones, whatever. Um, and then also, I think people forget that hobbies do cost money, but then
Yeah.
you also have to kind of balance that out. It's like, do you need a $300 camera? Not really with smartphones. Do you need to pay for Photoshop for your hobby? I mean, if you want to, but it's not necessary because you have Canva, Canva Pro. But yeah, I mean, I like all those really blingy, fancy, high tech thumbnails that get people or channels popular. Yeah, that's like Photoshop, and it's a little much. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think when BookTube likes to talk to itself, they're trying to go back to the time where whenever I was starting. where it really wasn't clickbaity anything,
Mhm.
but I think every genre on, or almost every genre on YouTube, it's clickbaity at this point because that's just the internet and it's not a book. I don't think it's a booktube focus issue. Definitely
Mhm.
not. And
Mhm.
I think kind of maybe like Mr. Beast kind of started like those really high production thumbnails where you
Right.
see so much, and then people are trying to recreate that, but like in a booktube way or in a video gamer way or so on and so forth. It does, I know it can get a little annoying because you see the people that can afford Photoshop that have those crazy, really high definition booktube thumbnails,
Yeah.
and then you're just like, oh, and the title's pretty clickbaity too, and then like they have those really expensive cameras and all that setup, and you're like, do I have to be like that?
Yeah.
You don't. But yeah, I think a lot of people, I think really in 2025, um, and maybe like a little bit in 2024, there was like some existential stuff going on with BookTube because so much is now like high definition, high production for a hobby. And like
Mhm.
people like I get that. It's hard to balance, especially if you don't have those specific titles and thumbnails. You feel like, well, you can kind of tell that it's not being clicked on. So then therefore, there's the thought of, oh, what am
Yeah.
I doing this hobby for? But then you
Right.
also have to remember it's a hobby. It's
Right.
BookTube talking to itself. Uh,
Yeah,
I've seen that a lot.
I went down that, rabbit hole a little bit, especially when I first started. I was like, when I was just basically recording and just uploading and just giving general information about what the video was about in the description, I didn't know anything about hashtags. I didn't know anything about thumbnails.
Mhm.
I was interested in how people like how did they put those pictures inside their videos type thing. And it wasn't I think like Logan was like, hey, you can get this InShot. You can get a free, download and you can use it and do some editing if you want, through your phone. And so I've played around with it. I got like
Mhm.
and then like a normal kid, like when you first get it, you're like, oh, this is awesome. And I'm gonna put so many memes in my videos. And it was like, okay, wait, that was a little much. And you have to pull back. And so I've played with going back and forth, but just being like, here's the video raw, and then I've gone to the opposite side, like, hey, I'm trying to make it humorous at parts and everything to keep people engaged through the video. And it's like, I don't know. I go back and forth if it's worth the extra amount of time because there is a
Mhm.
huge time involvement if you start editing everything and trying to create thumbnails and it adds up
Yeah.
quickly. So,
Yeah. 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 This is a recent thumbnail. It's the Read What You Own challenge, and
mhm,
I was finally like, oh, I'm going to hold up the books and do all of that. And my husband had to help me, so that's already like an extra whatever thing. And then as I was filming, I was like, why do I smell blackberry jam? It's on my shirt, isn't it? Oh, okay, great. So I had to change my shirt, and then I was like, okay, so this is what I get for trying to be matchy matchy with the picture on the thumbnail, holding up these huge chunky monkey books, and in the video, and then
yeah,
that's why I have like 40 pictures that I like rotate. Those I do prefer some of them more over others. I'm trying to be better to rotate them.
right,
But then, yeah, like even taking pictures in the same clothing that you did and then editing them and then putting them on thumbnail and then it's just like, geez, okay. I've gotten down to like 5 minutes for thumbnails, but I have I don't know if you have it in Canva Pro. I just have a bunch of what are they called? Like pages. And so like I mix them back and forth and all that stuff. I think a lot of people just have to kind of figure out what they want to do. And also, me being on for 8 years, didn't even realize that there is subgenres within BookTube where like a lot of them do like vlogging.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't do the vlogging.
Yeah.
You see
Like they
like
do
those really bright,
reading sprints things.
yeah, or like the bright, it's always bright white and there's pink involved. And I'm like, well, that's not me.
Yeah.
But they get, that's the ones where it's like 200K views in like
Mhm.
a week, but that kind of transfers over from Book Talk and Bookstagram. Like, I think the main ones are Book Talk, Bookstagram, BookTube. I'm not
Mhm.
on both of them, and you will not see me on either of them. It's just too materialistic. Um, and also TikTok is not privacy wise, it's not safe whatsoever. Um, but I did I think a lot of people that are newer forget how bad or don't know how bad BookTube used to be,
Mhm.
but they all went to TikTok. Yeah, stay over there. Stay over there. Like they're doxing each other over a book opinion.
Right.
Yeah, it was bad. I don't know if you ever watched BookTube, maybe even just like yeah, like 4 or 5 years ago. It got really bad 2020, and then 2021 people moved over to Book Talk, but there was some lingering stuff of like doxing people
Mhm.
over like not liking this author. I don't know if you it's good if you missed it because it was a hot mess and like everyone was on the table of being thrown under the bus and
Was
being
it
doxed.
was it a romantasy author?
No, it's just anyone. Like
Anyone?
if you didn't
Okay.
like this fantasy author and
Okay.
you had criticisms, you were in line to possibly be doxxed.
You were in the island of misfit toys. Yeah, yeah.
It was bad. So I understand like there's obviously always drama. There's drama in real life, but it's just amplified on online. But they're like at least people aren't being doxxed, knock on wood, for the dumbest things you can possibly imagine.
Yeah.
But I think now there's a lot of meta stuff happening, which
Mhm.
is interesting to see.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a TikTok channel, but I got it was probably 6 or 7 months ago, and it
Mm,
was at my oldest daughter's kind of urging, like, "Hey, you should get on TikTok and help promote, yourself, blah, blah, blah." But I would go on TikTok and I wasn't really live on TikTok. I would just basically
mm,
create little posts, and I was trying to get people, "Come over to my YouTube channel and check out this video I just did," kind of thing, and it was just and did it help? I don't think so.
mhm.
I think a lot of the followers we have on most of social media is bots. I mean, there's a lot.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know,
I think
so
it's yeah, that's unfortunate
yeah, I mean,
because it
like
doesn't
even
match the views.
no,
I don't think mine match like my followers don't match my views. It was better before COVID, and then it just and
yeah,
I didn't.
I
How do
think
you
so
fix
too.
it? I don't know. But
Well,
then
there's
it's now it's getting better.
Yeah, there's even bigger channels too that are like, I have 20,000 subscribers and I only get, maybe
Oh,
a couple hundred comments. Like,
yeah, it's yeah.
I mean, and so I agree with that. But there's also smaller channels, the 500 subscribers that will go out and put a video out and they'll get 400, 500 views. So
Yeah.
either
It's
the
hot.
views they're coming from non-subscribers or, it's
Mhm.
yeah. I think it's a lot of I think YouTube is a lot of projections about where you're at.
Mhm.
And so
Mhm. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, like my Speak book review that like as of now just came out a couple of weeks ago. It has 3,000 views, but 4 comments. I'm
Yeah.
like, what happened?
Yeah.
What happened? I mean, I don't think I said anything like scary or controversial or anything like intimidating that would make people not comment,
Hmm.
but 4 comments, but
Right.
3,000 views. What?
Right.
Okay. No dislikes. I just, yeah, I don't know what's happening there. And it's not a
Well,
short. It's got like 15
well,
minutes.
and see, that's the funny thing is the shorts do so well for the first 48 hours.
Oh, they
I've
do.
always I've always noticed
Mm,
that, whereas book reviews do terrible until you look at them 6 months, you know, from the
yeah.
start. Then you're like, "Oh, that did pretty good." But if you look at something
Yeah.
like in real time, like, you're gonna get misguided on when it comes to book
Hmm.
reviews. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I know there's a big thing with book reviews, though. A lot of people, like, as I was saying, it's clickbaity titles that you don't think are book reviews, but a lot of them are book reviews where it's like, I read this book so you don't have to. Well, that kind of is saying that it's a book review, especially because if it's like an hour long,
Yeah.
it's a book review, right? But I think negativity sells and it's always sold. So when you have, I read this book, so you don't have to, and like the thumbnail is like someone just like in disgust, like ew, with the book cover kind of like up to the
Yeah.
side. Um, that does count as a book review, and those types do very well. Um, and you could maybe even say that's like a deep dive analysis.
Well, and I did a thumbnail recently where I read the Dan Brown book, I didn't like it, and I did,
Hmm.
like, overrated, and I kinda have a look of disgust on my face. It did really well. It
Hmm.
I do a book review on something I really, really like, it doesn't do near as well. Um, but yeah, I mean, right now,
Yeah.
the hot thing is top 10s.
Yeah. Hmm.
I don't.
Or reading really extremely popular books like
Yeah.
Fourth Wing.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So if you like, if you don't mind doing like hours long videos on books you probably won't like, that is a good
sounds
because
horrible.
yeah. Um, well, that's what I was having. Like this was mainly during the summer when I think a lot of people were having, and it's still kind of going on, but when a lot of people were having the conversations of the views and the like booktubes or booktubes, book reviews don't like they're dead, they're not going anywhere. People were asking me about it, and I'm just like, one, I have COVID. Can I just feel better for a little bit? But they still would not leave me alone. Um, and there was stuff with that. Okay. So then I kind of waited a little bit. And I was like, look, why are you joining BookTube? Do you want to like have your channel mainly be about negativity? Because yes, there are those that are doing only negative reviews. Where's the positive of
Right,
anything?
right.
But maybe like reading for 24 hours straight, which are you? No, because there's so many cuts. Okay. Like those are the types that are really popular like they have like 200,000 subscribers and they have 1 million views on their 4 hour deep dive book review of Fourth Wing where like they're just tearing it apart. Do you want to do that or do you want to do something else? And also you have to remember, and me just being on for 8 years, what you put out is what you attract. And there have been so many booktubers that where it is just all negativity and encouragement in the comments of ripping books and even authors apart, and
Mhm.
even other content creators in the book world. And then they come after you because you say or do something that is just not good. And
Yeah.
then you're on to. And I think there were quite a few people that for that video, like if is joining BookTube right for you, they did get a lot out of that, so I'm happy about that. But yeah, I think also people forget that the internet is forever.
Yeah.
What do you want to put out as your legacy? Um, and also, do you want to be part of basically the legacy of negativity. I don't. I wouldn't. I don't. I. It just doesn't sit well with me. And I've just seen too many channels or just people implode
Hmm.
because it's always been a thing. Not so much in the beginning of BookTube, which is I think maybe BookTube's like 15 years old or something like that now. But yes, like the thumbnails and the videos even and like the titles were more straightforward and simplistic and not clickbaity, but yeah, you had people that were nasty to one another, trying to climb up the ladder, trying
Right.
to get more views and all that stuff. That's just like a human thing. And I think people just have to take a little step back and ask themselves, do you want to be part of that? Because you are in control of your actions, not
Right.
anyone else. And but I think not that many people sit back and think that way. And I get it, but also it's good to do.
Yeah, you know, here's what I've learned is, like, booktube is the one area, like, you always think about things outside of in life where you're thinking, "Okay, what is the
Mhm.
other perspective? How would, Nicole view what I'm about to put out on the internet?" But booktube is the one area I think where it's like, "Okay, well, what do I wanna do?" And then the
Mhm.
people that follow you, but doing what you wanna do are the people that are gonna stay and comment. And the
Yeah.
ones that are just clicking on it because, oh, here's another negative review, and then they realize, oh, your channel is mainly positivity, they'll just bounce, and
Mhm.
they're never going to stay. And so,
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of almost in reverse of how you normally think through things in life, but book two is definitely, it's kind of weird in that way.
Yeah, and then also the people that just read so much. There's a like even if you don't do like deep dives or analyses or like video essays, you're still thinking a lot about like
Mhm.
not necessarily like you're gonna film it, but you have thoughts, comments, and concerns. But
Right.
it could also be unconscious. I think a lot of people, like I know, like I have an English degree, and then for the last, like I graduated college in 2016, and for the rest of 2016 and a little bit into 2017, I did not read because that analysis of every single sentence on every page. That's what I was dissecting, or like everyone was dissecting. And it
Right.
just gets damn well old. And it nearly ruined reading for me. And there's obviously people that love that. Duh. But like for me, growing up, loving to read and reading to escape and to have a fun time, that did get old eventually. Um, and so I think also people kind of forget, like, you don't have to do deep dives. You don't have to do, like, yeah, you don't have to do a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
You just feel the need to because that's what gets things, moving. But also you have to come back to like this is a hobby and like are you still having fun? Like and
Right.
there could be things where like you get like you delete your channel or something because you've learned after 6 months, a year, or even like, 5 years, oh, this isn't fun anymore, and I'm being too analytical, and that means ultimately I have to not do booktube, but I can comment and I could like do buddy reads and stuff, but I can't have a channel because I'm too much analytical and I'm looking at stats too much and all that stuff. Okay, I have to take a step back, and that's perfectly good too. And that happens with like gaming, like the gaming community. Like you're streaming for 6 hours
Yeah.
and people are telling you what to do. And if you don't do exactly what they say, like that's at least there's, you know, that's not really, it's kind of hard to stream and like have people tell you what and what not to read. But there are times where it's like, people read books that they don't like because their audience tells them. So it's like it's similar, but at least it's not really in real time
Right.
with gaming. That is tough. I've seen it, and that's just really hard. And people are nasty about
Well,
it. Oh,
and I keep a list of the recommendations that people make in terms of reading books, and I think it's great because I get a lot of great comments about it. And there's a lot of people out there that read similar, they like similar books that I enjoy as well. So I try to take their advice, you know,
hmm
strongly. But you do feel so a certain way about like, well, so and so told me I need to read this book, and it's been like 6 months. I haven't read it yet. Like, so you start to feel kind of one
mm.
way about it. I can only imagine in gaming, like where they're telling you
Oh
lies,
yeah.
like you need to do this or this game stinks. Try you need to go
Yeah.
buy this one. And it's like, gosh,
Oh
I would lose my
yeah.
mind.
Yeah. I know there are quite a few booktubers that have like an open, forum, and then they just kind of they read whatever other people suggest, and a lot of them just kind of go a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And I'm
Mhm.
like, when have you last read something that you chose, not
Right.
someone else? And then they have to think really long about it. And I'm like, maybe pause and read a couple books that you enjoy.
Mhm.
That's when kind of things I've noticed get to be too much for people. I always had, and I think the successful people that keep this up, I've always had the mindset of I read what I want to read and I do what I want to do, and I'll share it with people. And if people like it, then that's who stays. I don't go I'll take recommendations, but like if you're recommending a western to me and you know that I don't read westerns, I I'm sorry, I'm skipping it. I am. Um I've tried and it doesn't work. I can't love all the things. But
Right.
there are so many other uh booktubers that just do westerns. So if you just want western, then you go seek them out. Like I read very widely, but if you want specific things and you demand specific things, I it's not going to work out for me at least, but there are lots of people that will just read recommendations even if they don't like it, and that it's kind of
Right.
like a spiral. But you're I don't cater necessarily to people. If there are things like book review 101 for authors, like that's indie author focus, so it's like I'm catering to other, but it's more like I've seen so much bad things happening, let's talk about it. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like too, like, and especially headed into we're getting close to the end of the year, heading into 2026. I feel
hmm
like next year my goals and my channel, like I just feel like I need a more centralized focus because I have felt like as more as I try to branch out and try different genres and authors, the more I feel like when it comes to selecting what I'm going to read next, there's just so much to choose from. It's like hard to make a
hmm
decision. And I like series, I like different genres. I want to, you can't. There's no way you could read all of it, and so it becomes very. It kind of irks me, at least as an individual, because I don't like not achieving traction
hmm
and goals and whatnot. And I feel like you're just constantly spinning. So yeah, I have to make a very conscientious approach to 2026, especially when it comes to goals and where my channel's kind of going, what I'm going to focus on.
hmm
Um, westerns is a big part of it. I've grown to love westerns over the last year. Um, but yeah, I like sci-fi, I like fantasy, I like thrillers, I like series. So it's
hmm
like it's it's hard to read them all, and
yep, yeah. And you've also now discovered the world of indies.
yeah, I know. That was something that that was something else in August. I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
Yeah, first and foremost, thank you for helping. Uh I it was just kind of a whim thing. I had your book, I had some other books that I was interested in, and I was like, well, why don't I just make this month about this? Because we just got like done with June on the Range doing westerns. We had February was Holmes Where the Heart Is. So we were doing Sherlock Holmes reading, and I was like, well, I'll just make a whole month about this. And it just kind of took off from there, especially with your help. So, but it was eye opening. You know,
Mhm.
the quality of some independent authors is completely underrated. It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was blown away by what I read. So
Yeah. Mhm.
I
Yeah.
it's gotta be such a huge struggle for folks like yourself and others that are trying to get a foothold in those markets, trying to get yourself marketed, which come to find out through some of the Q&A with you all was
Mhm.
that was one of the big, you know, kind of anxiety points is marketing yourself, and I can understand that. I'm not a salesman. I couldn't sell myself, let alone something else. But yeah, it was interesting to see that because there's
Mhm.
definitely it should be marketed heavily, and because I think there's a lot of talent. And so I was really surprised. Obviously, it's probably something that's going to be on my goals for this coming year as well. Um, but yeah, I really enjoyed August. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah. I know there are quite a few indie authors that don't know what they're doing. So then like they just throw their book up and not edit it and all that stuff. And
Yeah.
that's been a thing for a while. I mean, since indie writing has been a thing. Um, so that there's kind of a bad uh vibe people get.
Yeah.
Some people, not it's getting better because there's quite a few uh indie writers that people think are traditionally published, and it's like, no. So I've had that conversation so many times. Or it was, for a long time they were indie published, and then like they're so big that they get eyes from like, agents and all that stuff, and
Uh
they
huh.
choose to go the traditional route. And I understand, especially if someone's like disabled or they have like 5 kids, or something like that, or maybe like they're taking care of their ill wife or ill parents. um I can see their decision to go traditional, because yeah, if you're an indie, you're doing everything. And
Hmm.
it's a lot. And then well, see what I like, but not, maybe I'm different. I like to have all the power, because then I know that I can change stuff. Whether I can with money, that's different. Like I can't do all that much this year because it's been a dumpster fire. But I feel like anxious if I have to give all my copyrights, and not even most, 98% of the decisions to someone else, and they can just mess it up. I've seen it
Right.
happen so many times. There are so many indies that started out traditionally published, and they waited the 10, 15 years, whatever, to get all the rights back. And they weren't successful because all of their stuff was in other people's hands. And sadly, half the time, they didn't know what they were doing. And then the other half, um, was luck, and like they just weren't picked up. Like their agents and their publishers did all that they could, and there's a luck involved as well. And I think people don't like that as well. But I think there's luck for like everything, not just publishing. But that's
How
a
is
hard pill to
how has
the
Amazon hurt you? Is it helped or hurt?
Oh, it's helped.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
yeah. I know you have to follow the rules, right? You have to read the guidelines.
Right.
A lot of people don't, and this kind, yeah, maybe not a lot of people now, because the internet, there's so much information out there for indies, but you have to want to be curious. And even for writers, there are people that just aren't curious, and then don't do the research. So then they'll break a bunch of the guidelines that are plain. Or if you just ask a couple of other indies, I can tell you, or other people can tell you, but they don't, and they just do a bunch. They upload their manuscript, they do something with the cover, which is not recommended. And then, you know, their first book, second book, fifth book, they get terminated, but the guidelines have always been there.
Hmm.
So then people, they, Amazon will tell you. You just have to, open your emails. um, they will email you and they will give you time to rectify stuff. So whenever, an indie writer says, "Oh, it was just randomly terminated and I don't know what's going on," I'm like, "Oh, they emailed you. They
Yeah.
emailed you several times." So that's also the kind of a whole other can of worms of like, what's your email inbox look like? Because they will tell you and you can fix it most of the time. There are some times where, like, if you truly copyrighted someone else's work, like you stole that work, you can't really rectify that other than taking
Right.
down the book,
Right.
which they'll tell you to take down the book in X amount of days, and then you could save your Amazon um, account. But yeah, I mean, people don't look. Well, that's unfortunate. But I've had conversations with like booktubers that are like, "I never read an indie book. No offense, Nicole." And I'm like, "Oh, so what are you reading lately?" Because I know that they're reading or they have read an indie writer, and they're like, "Oh, well, they'll lay it out," and I'm like, "That's an indie writer."
Yeah. I mean, most people don't realize. I mean,
Yeah, which is good because I think as indie writers, you have to like even do a step up above traditionally published because there's the stereotype that all indie books suck,
mhm.
which for a while that happened, and then the old people um either just left because they weren't successful because they were putting out trash, or they figured it out however they did. They're like, "Oopsie, I'm gonna do better." Good. But I have to be better. Well, I even have to. I feel like I have to be better in all the ways than that I can possibly can of the traditionally published because of the negative connotations
Yeah.
that have been put in place by people, and a lot of them aren't even around. But you know, it's been 15-ish years. Yeah, since kind of indie was a thing and Amazon started it, but it was kind of free for all.
Well,
So,
before that, it was just mail your manuscripts to different places and
yeah.
hope for the best, right?
Yeah, or like start your own like small press.
Small
And then you
press.
had your friends in the same genre or like subgenre kind of, but it was still publishing because you had to do all the things
Right.
to set it up. You're not like the big five, but you have, let's say, small press. You have 30 authors, including yourself. That counts as small, but you're still, you know, publishing in that way. You're just not necessarily in like Barnes and Noble. Which, if I do certain things, my books can be ordered through Barnes and Noble. The new thing now, which I have to do in 2026, I just don't have the energy for, is to set up all my books on a plate. I think it is Draft to Digital, and Amazon is letting indie writers that are in Kindle Unlimited go to Draft to Digital for their um, to distribute to libraries.
Okay.
And that's a huge deal. It's a huge deal. It's new, just a couple months old. I am also kind of waiting it out to see because we'll see how it goes. I got a couple more months, and then if it truly is what other like big name and medium-sized writers are saying, that you can truly, even if you're on in Kindle Unlimited, you can distribute to um, libraries. That's a goal for 2026 because they are different markets. I think Amazon as a whole has figured out it's a different market, um, allowing Kindle Unlimited, um, authors to distribute to libraries, because what a lot of people don't know is if you're in Kindle Unlimited, it's ebook only, but you can't distribute your ebook anywhere else. So that's why I'm not what you would call wide. You can get my paperbacks on uh, different websites, but only paperbacks. You can't get them. You can't get the ebooks anywhere else, or else I would be breaking KDP guidelines that a lot of people don't read, and then they get in trouble because their ebook is in Kindle Unlimited on Amazon, but then you can buy it full price on Barnes and Noble and Kobo. You can't do that if you're in Kindle Unlimited. So it's a big deal that Amazon seems to be allowing writers that are in Kindle Unlimited to have their ebooks on libraries. But I
Nice.
think they realized that it's a different market.
Right.
So let's see if it works. I'm just
Yeah.
giving it some time. I don't want to, I don't like jumping the gun, especially when it comes to Amazon.
You don't wait
Because
for the beta group?
no, I don't like that. I'm not that brave in 2025, at least. Maybe if things weren't so blah this year for me, but no, I'm writing it out.
Yeah.
uh, yeah. But I think you usually get used books, and that's fun. Is it usually, do you have like Books a Million, or what's that, half price books, and then also the library, right?
So I am probably an hour from major stores. I mean,
Um,
I am really turned off by Barnes and Noble, though. I will admit that.
mm-hmm.
But yeah,
It's
I like to
expensive.
visit the libraries. And
Mm-hmm.
I have a couple great used stores, but they're an hour away from me. But
Oh,
I tend to make the trips, and make it worth my while. If we're going grocery shopping or something, I'll stop by there, just make it worth the money. But yeah, I don't really have, the traditional brick and mortar places close to me,
mm,
so it's a haul. But yeah, I Barnes and Noble. Oh man, the problem I have with Barnes and Noble really is you can't go in and just buy mass market paperback anymore. You just can't.
yeah.
It's all
Hmm.
$20 trade paperbacks. There's one little section of maybe 500 books that are in the old. Well, they're not even the old mass market paperbacks. They're in the tall 9.99 ones, and
Mm-hmm.
it's back in the back, like like by the restroom. Like you have to go there just to find.
Mm.
Everything else is hardback, and the fancy deckled edges, sprayed edges stuff. And I don't want to spend $40 on a book when I can buy 10 for that amount of money.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm frugal about it. I mean, they're beautiful books. Some of those ones, the people that buy
Hmm.
the special edition ones, they're beautiful, but it's just not for me. So
Yeah. Yeah. I know that's a big thing now, like consumerism, which has always been an issue.
yeah,
People, humans love pretty things. Um, I
yeah,
think it's just we like to collect things. We're kind of like dragons. Mm.
yeah.
Um, and we have to work on not collecting things, and I'm sure that there's a biological reason for just collecting, especially if you've gone through hard times.
Yeah.
Um, and especially like if you've gone through hard times, and this isn't for everyone, but if you've gone through hard times and you overcome it, now you have some money, it can definitely be hard to kind of limit yourself because you finally feel like in a way free,
Hmm.
but then you feel a little guilty. It's
Hmm.
hard, humans
Yeah.
are interesting. Understatement. Understatement of the year. Um,
What about
I
you? I mean, are you when you buy books, is it
I haven't
thrifting?
I haven't bought uh oh, I've bought like 5 books this year. Because we've had such a really my husband and I have had a really hard time with job loss um, all this year. Uh, no fun. We have no fun. And so that means no buying books. And I think a lot of people forget that, or no, I think nowadays people, unfortunately, are realizing you have to cut a lot of stuff out, and buying and doing fun stuff is the first to go.
Yeah.
Um, like I grew up really poor, so it's not a difficult transition to drop the things that aren't actually needed. And there are a lot of people that um like they get need and want confused. Like you don't need to go to Starbucks every day. But
Right.
people are like, "No, I need my coffee." No, no, no. No, I don't need the coffee. I drink coffee every day. If it comes down to paying an electric bill or cutting out coffee, but by coffee, and yeah, I'll have a headache, maybe. I don't think I will because caffeine doesn't really do that to me anymore. Um, but y- for the person that's so used to coffee in the morning, especially going to Starbucks, that's like sick. Well, it depends what you get. It could be up to $7.
Right.
You do that every single day. What does that look like at the end? That could be an electric bill.
Mhm.
But people get need and want confused in a society that is honestly extremely well off. Um, yeah, I think yeah, when I've told people I've only bought 5 books and I'm going to the library or the little library, because we have a bunch of little libraries around here,
Mhm.
they're like, "What?" Like, yes. Also, the reading what you own. Um, I'm down to 17 books now. People are, and so I'm doing the read what you own challenge, and I've gotten some comments like, you don't actually need to do that challenge. I'm like, well, I want to. Thank you.
There you go.
Um, and then also, I've had most of the 17 books on the list for a couple years. So
Yeah.
actually, I kind of feel like I do. But I think a lot of people are focused on like the read what you own challenge. If you have hundreds of books, yes. And then that's the thing we're coming back to of like, do you need those books?
Right.
If you have 500 physical books, do you need them? And like maybe I'm not saying that you need to because it's up to you, but maybe you should look at like how much have you spent on those 500 books or
Mhm.
like even just like 100 books and see like are you personally struggling with certain bills or something? Like we could dive deep because I don't think you need 500 books. I don't think that I um needed to buy like in what was it? I think 2024 I spent a lot on books and half of them I don't own anymore.
Yeah.
Actually more than half. Yeah. Maybe if you're trying out a new author, get a book heavily used for like $3 instead of 25.99,
Yeah.
right? Or
Yeah.
go to the library.
Yeah.
But I think people don't think about that because there is a consumerism issue with so many things, but specifically books. And oh, I don't know how much the percentage is because of the online sphere, but also just Americans have a thing with buying so much and thinking that you need it
Mhm.
when it's actually you want it. You don't need 15 Stanley Cups, girlfriend. Like
Right.
you need, let's say you need one. You don't even need it, but like let's just say one, maybe two. You don't need 15 colors, okay?
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
the
I can't remember the last time oh, well, I know for sure the last time I got a brand new book is well well, I know 2 instances where I brought brand new books. So, the first one was I was in Barnes& and Noble looking because I couldn't find it anywhere else without ordering online, and I went
Mhm.
to Barnes& Noble to buy the book. It was Sword of Kaigen by M.L. Wang, which they don't have at
Oh.
Barnes& Noble.
Oh, yeah. She started indie.
Yeah, that's right.
Mhm.
That's why she's not there, and I was like,
Yeah.
I was scratching my head looking at the lady, I'm like, "How do you not have this book? It's all over everywhere," and
Mhm.
yeah, that's the reason why I found out later. The other kind of thing is that the only really new books that I purchase is when I go on Amazon and I buy an indie author.
Yeah. Mhm. So
So,
that's appreciated,
yeah,
by the way.
yeah, that's really the only time, unless I'm making it, I guess you consider it maybe a digital purchase on my Kindle, but
Yeah.
everything
Mhm.
else that I buy for a dollar or a quarter or 50 cents or a couple bucks
Mm.
at a store.
Yeah.
Like I ranted about the Dan Brown book when I went to I was in a Barnes& Noble just looking around with my daughter. That new book was sitting there on an end cap. It was $38 for a Dan Brown book. I'm like, "You gotta be out of
Yeah.
your mind."
Mm.
I
Yeah,
could
you
get
can go on
yeah,
Amazon half price for the same book usually.
or I could go
It's
to the library and get 20 books for that amount of money, it
Oh,
just
yeah.
doesn't make sense to me.
Mhm. Mhm.
So,
Yeah. Well, that's why uh one of the reasons why Barnes Noble is struggling. But if you walk into Barnes Noble now, you can tell like a lot, well, I guess it depends on the region, but a lot of it's toys.
it is. Very much so.
Because they've figured out like, oh no. But instead of lowering the book price, you just add like 50% toys to Barnes and Noble and then the other 50, but it should be mainly book. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Don't
agree.
listen to the consumer. Okay,
Yeah.
just keep the books $38 for a hardback. Blah.
The
That's
only
so
thing that's in there is the special editions colored sprayed edge
mm,
books that are usually in, like, the romantasy kind of genre, and
mm,
toys, and then it's, like, specialty items. That's it.
yeah.
You go in and try to find a Penguin Classic, you're gonna pay $25. It's just
Yikes.
you can't go in
Mm,
there and find. That's the other thing too I noticed too, even when I went into the little bitty section that was the paperbacks, the old school paperbacks, I guess you would call them.
mhm.
The selection is so limited because it's just takes up a couple shelves. Like, yeah, it
Mm.
almost forces you to go to like those fancy, huge trade $20 paperbacks or the brand
Yeah,
paperback, and so you don't, as a consumer, you're like, okay, well now they're forcing my hand to spend more money. Like
right.
that's silly. Yeah.
Yeah, they're definitely doing that for a reason. I know, like, there were people, well, I think now a lot of people are kind of realizing marketing is everywhere and every single thing, including water, right? I think uh, a lot of people don't realize that that is a thing, and that also includes stuff that you do truly need, like water and food. There's a whole
Mhm.
marketing team behind that. And then, but I think people realized, or now realizing a little bit more with items, specifically books, and yes, it's all about the money, and you do at a certain point have to choose what you buy because that is pushing the publishing houses to do certain things because people are spending money. And yeah, humans really like pretty things.
Yeah, for sure.
So like you have to then choose not to spend on pretty things,
Right.
which is hard for a lot of people, obviously, or like especially Americans. Um, uh, yeah, it's tough. There's a lot of indie writers doing the same thing as traditionally published writers, but like it's a little harder to do. So like then you do Kickstarter stuff to get the money to pay for the special editions and the sprayed edges where like the traditionally published authors they can, or well, one, they have people doing it for themselves, but like the publishing houses have their own section for those special editions, so it's not a huge
Yeah.
deal. Whereas indie, they have to you know do a bunch of hoops, and I'm not doing that. But then also I don't support that unless, like, let's say maybe like a 10th anniversary edition, maybe. But there are just people that like indies that are seeing, oh, the pretty hardcovers with the edges and all that stuff, and like their book's only been out for 2 years and they're doing it. But that's what the market right now is saying.
Yeah. Well,
But you have to choose as a
right.
person not
Yeah.
to do that. And it's hard when, you know, you're an indie writer and you see all the pretty stuff and you're like, okay, I guess I I have to. You don't have to. But there are plenty of indie writers that do pay their bills with books. And I know a lot of people think that that's impossible. I don't know. No, it's very possible. I know like dozens and dozens that are
Yeah.
5, 6 figure, even 7 figure authors, but that means that they have to chase those trends just, as the traditionally publishers are doing. It's like that's so damn tough.
Yeah, I would say too, like, there's a lot of people that want those pretty books because they look so nice on their shelves. And
Hmm.
I like my beat up, cracked spine paperbacks on my shelves.
Yes.
Here's the thing, Nicole, honestly, for me,
Hmm.
and I'm asking you too, does the story flip and change if the book has sprayed edges or not? It doesn't change
No.
what the author wrote. I
Yeah.
mean,
No. No. It doesn't.
the
It just,
only time
yeah.
I ever give any thought to, should I purchase this on Kindle or should I go to Amazon and buy the book, is when it comes to indie authors, because I'm always
Hmm.
interested in, will Nicole get more money if I buy the physical book or I go to Kindle and get the book? Like, 'cause that's
Hmm.
because after doing the event in August, I understand the challenges with indie authors. So it's kind of like, how do I help them? Because
Hmm.
no, Stephen King or Joe Hill or Dean Koontz, they don't give two craps whether or not I buy the book at a used store versus at a Barnes and Noble. Like, they
Mm.
got their money a long time ago, so
Yeah.
it's, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just the kind of guy, like, here's the funny thing too. I was asking a couple other books who was like, I'm like, dude, how do you get all of those special editions, broken binding, folio society, and several of them, like,
Mm.
I donate plasma
Oh.
to make extra money so they can afford the special editions. I'm like, oh my gosh, is it that serious?
Yeah, that would be the conversation of, mm, the that's plat
Yeah.
an electric bill. Uh, Dude. Yeah, no. I've been in survival mode all of 2025. Um, because there's the financial struggles and all that stuff, and cutting so much. And there were times like I had a full-time job, and then I was doing virtual assistant work for authors, just trying to get an extra couple hundred. There were times where it was like technically 6 jobs at once.
Yeah.
And it's just like I wouldn't be spending, well, no, I didn't spend on anything fun. It was going to bills. And like around here, I don't know. I was looking into plasma. They don't do it around here. I'm like, but I wouldn't be spending on books.
Yeah, I mean, to each his
Okay.
own, but I was like,
Yeah.
wow, is it that serious? My gosh.
I don't think it's that. Well, it shouldn't be that serious, but that's
I mean,
oh boy.
they
Yeah.
make for great videos, an unboxing video. You got this Folio Society or Broken Bounding edition of Red Rising or whatever the book is. It's like,
Mm.
oh, that's really cool. It's neat. It looks nice. But like, I see those in Barnes and Noble, and I kind of like, oh yeah, that's nice, and I walk on. Like,
Yeah.
it's the
I
same
mean,
story. I mean,
yeah. Yeah. It's just, yeah, it's the pretty things that, though there are quite a few people struggling, in the United States specifically, it's not enough where the people in mass are going to cut drastically and then think more about like the what's his name? Oh no. There's a pyramid of needs, and Americans, even poor, are not on the very bottom level trying to survive. We're pretty high up in the pyramid of needs, and that's when you get into like items that you don't need. But then also you're in a lot of credit card debt, but
Mhm.
you don't like for a lot of people, not even just Americans, the credit card debt doesn't register a lot of the time because you can like not look at it and
It's
you could
outside
just
out of mind.
pay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can just pay the minimum, but like you're not getting anywhere with the
No.
if you pay the so like it's just yeah, it's very interesting times. Yeah, yeah, when you have to pay certain things without credit cards or even yeah, I think that's when people will kind of snap out of it, but America's very credit card look
Mhm.
where yeah, you don't need the $500. You just put
Yeah.
that on the card. But when you have to have when something forces you to pay by check or money or money order, then you're like, oh my God, I don't have that.
Right.
That's kind of like the mortgage. You can't. Yeah, you got to do. You got that. You need that cash, but a lot of people don't have homes. They
Yeah.
rent, so then like they don't even get that. Yeah, because you can pay your water bill with a credit card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, in the last couple years where people got fixated on word usage, pronoun usage, we lost aspect. We lost kind of our core values in the sense of what the definition of necessity meant.
Oh yeah.
Because, I agree with you. Like, if you have to make a choice between what you absolutely need versus what you want, there's far too many people
Hmm.
that choose what they want over what they need. And
Yeah.
yeah, going back to like the books too, like when you're talking about your read to own challenge and everything that you have left, which I applaud, 17 books left is fantastic. Um, I recently did, I have an unhaul video coming up, and I kind of talked about that in a video about my thought process around how I was choosing what I was unhauling. But one of the things was is like, okay, I've since I started my YouTube channel, I've acquired probably another 800 to 900 books in my personal
Hmm.
library. Now, I read a lot of what I've purchased over these 50 odd book hauls or whatever the case may be. But at the same time, like, I still bring in more because I find stuff, but I'm getting more strategic about what I
Hmm.
go out and get. I'm looking for specific books by specific authors or series. But there does come a time where you are kind of making a decision. No, should I get this used book? Should I get it on Kindle because I'm creating less of a footprint or a hassle for my kids when I get to 70 years old and they're having to deal with this huge library that I have type
Hmm.
thing. And so it does create kind of an interesting kind of thought process when you're out and about browsing books. But I will always, always go to a bookstore and just browse, even if it's for 5 minutes, because it's so peaceful. Walking
Hmm.
around shelves. I mean, the smells. I, yeah, it's just kind of one of those
Yeah.
things like I'm never going to get tired of doing, whether or not I buy something or not.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah. I know. Well, people. I think. Um. Well, I mean, those are all the books that I love,
Yeah,
and that is a lot. But a lot of them are from my grandmother who had them, for 20
sure.
plus years before she gave them to me. And then I started at middle school and then I'm up to here. But I do really go for keep what you love. And I think some people get love confused as well. Um, What's unfortunate. But
Do you
the
feel do you
main
ever feel
books.
do you ever feel sorry, do you ever feel the
Oh
need
no.
to, like, keep a an author's books because you've read it and enjoyed it? do you feel like for instance, I have every book that Stephen King has wrote because I've read them all except for
Mm,
Holly and his newest one that came out in May. I don't have those two. I've chosen not to buy Holly because I didn't like some of the stuff in it, but I haven't read the newest one and I haven't purchased it yet. Now, do should I keep them all? Or should, because now I've read them all, like, should I only
mm,
keep the ones that I really truly enjoyed? But then I
yeah.
get thinking, well, I might wanna reread and review some on the channel because I've only reviewed on the channel, you know, a handful of Stephen King books, even though he's one
Mm,
of my top 10 authors. But I always struggle with that, like, because King's got like 75, 80
yeah.
books, so it takes up a huge amount of
Oh,
space.
yeah.
So I
Yeah.
don't know. I always struggle with that. Like, should we keep it just on our shelves, even though we've read it and read it and know what it's about, because we may read it 10 years from now? I don't know. I always struggle with that.
Yeah. I think I only keep the books I absolutely love. Um, and then I will keep like if it's in a series and there's like two books in a 10 book series where it was like, oh, it's 3 stars, I'll keep those just to have like the 10
The 10
series.
series, yeah.
Yeah, or 10 books. Um, but yeah, I if I don't like something or I like it, but it's 3 stars, then it's going to be donated.
Yeah.
And I do that immediately. And I do have the privilege to have like 6 or so little libraries around here where I just drop them off.
Sure.
2 for 1 deal, you know. I get my
Mhm.
steps in, I just drop off all the books that I don't like. I haven't done it lately because I haven't bought, the books, but like oh my last year, I mean, I donated more than half of the books that I bought because I was trying new authors and that didn't work out. But I didn't keep them. Um I just let it go. And that's also for movies. I mean, like if we happen to buy like, 4 DVDs and we only liked 2 of them, then they're going to be dropped off or given to friends. We just don't, you know, um, because we already have the stuff that we love, including my
Mhm.
husband who does the same thing. So you kind of free up as much as you can. And I do also give a lot of things to charity, like clothing. If I haven't worn it in 3 years, it goes bye bye. And
Yeah.
it could, I know a lot of people will go, oh, if you haven't worn it in 1 year, you give it away. And I'm like, yeah, but there's, I'm not going to donate, let's say, um, work attire because there was a good portion of my time where I was 100% telework at my old job, but now I have to go in and it's smart that I didn't give away all my work attire or else I would have had to spend money. So like there are certain things where you kind of just like hold
Sure.
on for a little longer. But yeah, when it comes to books, yeah, it's tough. Um, like my husband likes Stephen King, but only his older stuff. So
Yeah.
he will just,
The cocaine days.
yeah. So and he doesn't like the newer stuff. So like he only keeps the old stuff. And I don't even think he's read the last 10 books that Stephen King has even published. So and he's probably never going to. It just kind of like putting boundaries on yourself and knowing kind of like yourself and your taste and what you might or might not do with those books. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's tough. It's going to depend. If I don't like something, I also will DNF. I don't have a problem if it's like 35 pages in. I say bye-bye. Okay, bye-bye.
Right.
We don't have a problem. There are some people that have to finish, but then they feel like terrible that they have to finish this 800-page book that they hate. I'm like, let it go.
Yeah.
And then they even decide if they want to keep it or not. I'm like, oh no, I'm kicking that book to the curb. Bye. But yeah, it just depends, of course, on people. But then I think a lot of people also struggle with letting things go, and that's a whole different situation that
Right.
is more psychological. Um, yeah, some people might also have to talk, to a professional about that. Like there are some where you see like stacks of just so much of books, but then also of like puzzles and other things that are actually now returning to trash, and like
Right.
that's where you got serious professional help, which I can't help you, but I can give resources to. I've done it twice.
Do you reread books?
No, not usually. So there's just a couple books that I've reread, and I think that surprises people, but I've reread books, and it like just like with writing, you're a different person when you read a book, and then you try to go, you know, you wait a decade and then you go back and read the same book that you absolutely adored, and then you're just like, oh wow, this is trash. I don't want that to happen
Right.
because it's happened a few times. So when people are like, oh, are you gonna reread your childhood favorite childhood book? I'm like, no, I'm not, because I think this is magical, absolute perfection, whimsical. It saved my life, but I'm not doing that as a 32-year-old. I don't know. I don't want to ruin that.
I can
Um,
understand that.
so, but I know other people don't have that problem. I
I
have that problem.
I think I
I don't
do
know why.
too. I tend not to reread unless I know it's just absolutely I'm gonna enjoy it. Like absolutely,
Hmm.
Or I will reread certain books from certain authors that I know are like just palate cleanse, low effort, kind of guy
Mm-hmm.
reads type stuff. Like you don't have to think a whole lot about it. It's not like you're reading Dumas or Jane Austen
Yeah.
or anything like that. But yeah, I'm not a huge rereader myself. And so it does kind of dovetail back to it's like, okay, I've read all these books. Why don't I just hang on to the ones I just absolutely adore and get rid of the rest? Like,
Yeah. That's where I lean. Hmm.
yeah. So
Yeah. And
I've
there's
read books.
also
Yeah.
Well,
Go
there's
ahead.
also some people that are like, oh, I want a personal library, which is like, I guess the definition.
A thousand
I don't know where
books.
I don't. And it's like, okay, but like, do you have people over and like to, you know, try like to borrow them? Or if someone tries for your personal library, you're gonna attack them? Like,
Right.
what do you think? Like, what do you want with the 1,000+ book? Whenever I see, like, I did like the word association game, and I wrote down personal library, I automatically think knowledge. And that means if someone does want um, to borrow a book, I will let them out. But then I will say, like, if you uh, completely damage the book or it goes missing, you are agreeing to replace it.
Sure.
But I mean, that's what I think. Knowledge, personal library. Some people think money, and uh, and it seems to be like the people that think you're wealthy or money. It's because they're used to like those special editions. I don't have that many special editions. The Barnes and Noble special editions ones are on the bottom, and a lot of people can't see them. But those were like, I don't know if Barnes and Noble does this still, but they were like $15
Yeah, they
special.
do. Yeah.
Oh, they do. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like $15 for that's not bad.
No.
I haven't bought one for like 4 years anyway. The last one was like Tesla.
Hmm.
Yeah. But the majority of my books are very happily used. They look worn in. I like the look of you enjoyed a book so much that it's worn out.
Right.
Um, that's and that would be a personal library because
Yeah.
you're reading, like the spine's broken and all that stuff. Um, yeah, I I I don't 100% understand the people that are like really upset if a spine is broken. I think that's the point.
Yeah.
But okay, but that would maybe like what they're thinking of is pretty on the shelf, showing off. Look, I have the money. That's completely different from people that actually read,
Well,
you
I
know.
I will upgrade mine, but it's only if I get it at a used store for like $1 or a quarter or something. Like, hell, this I
Mhm.
know I have this book. This is in a way better condition,
Mhm.
and then I'll just donate the other one to a free library. That's usually what I do. Yeah,
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah, there are some that I see around the little libraries where it's like it's it's falling apart. Like I love the idea, but if there are pages that are kind of like sticking out, like they're
sure.
uneven, I'm like I don't
Yeah,
know. Those are the ones where like you can recycle. I think the planet would be okay. Like the reading sphere would be okay, especially if they smell.
yeah,
Just recycle. I found one. I think it was the Stepford Wives by Ira Levin that was so used it smelled.
yeah,
And I'm like, this is going into recycle. Like,
yeah. I
okay.
had I had one I got from thrift books. It was a Blake Crouch book, and when it came, it smelled like cigarettes so
Mhm.
bad.
Oh no.
And I contacted them. They replaced it for free, and
Yeah, no.
yeah, I had to get rid of the book. Like, it was bad. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
and that was even after I set it outside, hoping
Oof.
that it would air out, and, like, no, it didn't.
Yeah. Sometimes you just need to let the books go.
Yeah,
I get that well, even a profit of like $2, is that really worth it? I don't know.
right,
I guess there are some people that, if they're smokers, they don't mind.
I
But then
guess.
also, yeah, no, I'm good. I don't know about others, but I'm good. No, thank you. But we're almost at an hour and a half, and I'm being flooded by these bugs that are coming through my window. I gotta go. And I'm sure you have to. It was a Saturday. Well, we're
Yeah.
filming on a Saturday, posting midweek on my channel. Uh, Multiple things going on. I gotta handle the bugs. You gotta, have a fun time on a Saturday. But uh, just briefly, let people know where to find them, and then also everyone watching. The info is in the description box. But let's end it up with just where to find you.
You can find me on YouTube at Kevin Toll Reads, and I would love to have you. Nicole is awesome. Thanks for having me
Oh,
on
thank you.
this. This was wonderful. If you haven't read Nicole's books, you definitely should. I am a huge fan. I love her writing style, her humor, her swearing. Love it all. So, yeah, definitely check her out. And thanks for having me, Nicole.
Oh, yes. Thank you for the support. And of course, we'll see me. We're in the booktube sphere. Uh, Thanks for stopping by. And yes, once again, check out Kevin. The info is in the description box. Everyone, have a great rest of your day, reading, writing, doing whatever you need to do for self care. And ta ta for now.